And so the reason why this is so important for us to realize is that maybe that is the zenith of each one of our daily activities. Maybe that is the purpose behind our work, behind our relationships, behind our husbands and our wives, and the reason why we have our children, the reason why we work or we read, why we dance, why we listen to music, why we do anything in this world, is that as we raise our energy and we develop excellence, excellence itself is just an eventual direction pointing back at God. And so maybe one of the ways we can discover for ourselves if we're living rightly is if at the end of our activity we find ourselves in a deeper space of devotional absorption in the presence of God. This is karma yoga. That the true goal of karma yoga is not activity, is not even conquest of goodness in God's name, is not to build churches or pave patios, but is that at the end of it that you may feel the living presence of the infinite Christ inside of you. So that way we don't need to argue like Debbie with the master in front of us, but that we become engrossed in his presence and that his magnetism can transform us so that we may forget that little self and that we may embrace infinity with him laughingly, which is his very goal. And I just want to kind of tie this back down to a really fun and meta example here, is this very sermon, this very idea that I've had, that I've tried my best to express, is the fruit of friendship. That this whole sermon, this entire inspiration was really sparked by a conversation that I had with one of my friends. And it inspired me so much. And it inspired me not just superficially, but it inspired me to look more deeply at what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and what is the purpose of all of my activity. And what is true success then, if not attunement to the Guru? And so even therein, I have the litmus test to discover that friendship is not merely materially beneficial, but is spiritually true. Because at the end of that friendship, or in that moment, it resulted in an inner, uplifted appreciation and experience of God. And so, what if this week, maybe we pick up C.S. Lewis's Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, but maybe also we just examine everything that we do, every relationship that we have, everything that we love. And we ask ourselves, why do I love it? Why am I engaging in it? And let's see if we can make it an act of worship. Let's see if we can make it an act of investigative discipleship, to see if we can find God hiding in that little avenue, in that little aspect of infinity. And when we do this, perhaps we'll begin to see his love shining in everything. And that ultimately is what this, I think, will draw us to, is the remembrance that the only fulfillment that we are all seeking is God's love, is his infinite power, is his perfect peace. And the more deeply we go into anything, the more we begin to recognize that. And the more we begin to recognize also our own foolishness, that why was I ever enamored with anything else? Why did I ever want to sit down and have lunch with Alexander the Great when I could have sat down and had lunch with Jesus? When I could have sat down and talked with the Buddha? And so, let's remember this week not to turn away from what is our true purpose, but rather to remember, to rededicate, and to seek him in everything, and eventually to search him out, as it says in that beautiful chant, in the secret inner temple of our own hearts, in the secret cave of our own meditation daily. God bless you, my friends.